You're listening to the Concord Podcast. I'm Kurt, joined as always by Taylor and Noah, and we are the pastors of Concord Baptist Church. Welcome back to the Concord Podcast. This is take 3 because I've forgotten the introduction twice now, but we're glad that you're joining us. We're filming this on Wednesday morning, but we just sent out the announcement to the church that we are going to be online only through the month of January. The COVID numbers are off the charts. We're seeing more and more of our folks that are either affected by this or close to those who are affected by it. And so if you want more information about what went into that decision, there's a video update from me. It's about 10 minutes long on the YouTube page. You can check it out there. But given that we are facing another, hopefully not near as long quarantine, but another kind of serious situation, we've all been learning how to cope with this, how to take care of ourselves mentally and all of those things, and all experience the weird phenomenon of not having a ton going on in life, a lot of things that have been canceled, and yet experiencing significant amounts of exhaustion and fatigue and all of those things, even as we don't necessarily have as much going on as we usually would. And so we were talking the other day, and I don't remember whether it was Noah or Taylor. It certainly wasn't me who had this idea, that we should do a podcast episode at the beginning of this year just on resting well. Because we know, and many of you know this as well, that when we rest, it's not just sleep that we need, but we need productive activities, things that bring us enjoyment, stimulate our minds in different ways. So there's a way to rest well, and that way is not always laying on the couch and watching 45 episodes of Friends on Netflix. Though there probably is a place. Sorry, Taylor. But so what we're gonna do in this episode is we've each submitted 3 things that we have found help us rest well, rest productively, brought some joy to our lives during this weird season. We sent them to Janet. And Janet, our church administrator, scrambled them up, removed the names from them, and sent them back to us. And so I'm going to read this list of 9 things, and then we're just going to go around and guess which one belongs to who based on our personalities and interest. And then that person is going to talk about why this has been really helpful. You may find something in here that you think, hey, that may be worth getting into or worth checking out for me. We hope that it can provide you some rest as well. So, I don't know if I mentioned this take. Like I mentioned, this is the 3rd take doing this, but Taylor and Noah are in quarantine for a little bit. Taylor was around a family member at Christmas that had COVID, and Noah has had some sickness in his family. So we're just being safe. And then I am stuck in my office with the door shut here at the church. But here are the 9 things that we found have helped us rest well during this quarantine. Yard work, so mowing the grass, outside projects. The second one, someone said, channeling my inner Phil Mickelson. The third is talking on the phone, board games, drawing badly. So badly is in parentheses, drawing badly. The next one is playing the piano, in parentheses, loudly. Wood carving, woodworking. That's 1, wood carving, woodworking. 8th is grinding coffee. And then 9th is painting abstract things. So what we're going to do, we flipped a coin. Taylor is going to be first. We're just going to pick one of these and guess who it was. And if you get it wrong, we'll move on. If you get it right, that person will explain why they found that significant and why you might as well. Taylor.
Well, there's a lot to pick from here. Phil Mickelson, is he a boxer?
It's a good question.
So I would like to start with drawing badly is going to be our pastor Kurt.
You would be correct. Yeah, absolutely. It's one of the things that I've kind of gotten into is just specifically wanting to draw my kids. My family had when my great grandfather passed away. We found someone had drawn just a quick sketch of him as a college student at what was API back then. It was at Auburn in the 1930s, and he 1920s. But he it was just drawn on the back of an envelope, and it probably took 5 minutes to do, but it's been so precious to our family. We framed it. It's on the shelf at my parents' house. It's just so cool. And so given having some extra time on my hands, I've been trying to develop some of those skills. And like anything that you learn for the first time, I've been spectacularly horrible, but I've been enjoying getting better, watching videos and learning some things along the way. So yeah, I've been learning to draw badly, and it's brought me a lot of joy.
Very nice.
All right, Noah, your guess next.
I'm gonna go with yard work, because I've said it on the podcast many times. Yard work is not one of my relaxing things. I've never found my joy in that. So I'm going to assume that it's one of you guys, obviously. And I've seen both of your houses. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to take shots at either of your yards. I think that may also be Pastor Kurt. And the reason I would think that, the reason I thought that is Kurt's the only one I've had conversations about his specific like lawn equipment when we're near the small shed in his backyard where he keeps all of his golden tools.
That's right. Yeah. Well, it's a good guess. But Taylor, why has yard work been meaningful for you?
Oh man. It's just kind of been a way for me to get out. Now, keep in mind, when I was younger, I hated yard work. I swore up and down that when I was an adult, I would live on a concrete slab so I would never have to weed a flower bed ever again. However, what I have learned is it's kind of a part of taking care of what you have. And but it's also I've gotten enjoyment out of learning new things, learning how to service things, and different ways of. I really care about my yard. Growing the grass, treating the grass, learning how to treat it. And so it's just a good outlet for me to get outside, and I can put my headphones in and I can go at it for hours. I love it.
That's awesome. Two spiritual things that both of you can add to your explanations here. Noah, when you say you don't like yard work, you can just say your spiritual gift is not yard work. And then that gives you just carte blanche justification for not doing it. Taylor, you can tie your love of it to Adam's creation mandate and work the ground and keep it. Or work the garden and keep it. And then not only are we impressed with your mowing skills, but now we feel that you're more holy than us. So food for thought. All right, my turn. I'm going to go with playing the piano loudly is Noah. And that's solely based on the fact that I have seen a piano in Noah's house and I have not seen one in Taylor. So Noah playing the piano loudly. You?
Absolutely. So one of my favorite ways to relax, and I only get in the right like mindset to do this every couple weeks, but I'll get home from the office, Elena and Fallon will still be at the daycare, and I'll see the piano and I'll just think, you know what, this is a great time to just goof off. And so I'll get out my phone, I'll pull up whatever songs are stuck in my head that day and just start playing them as loudly as I can and kind of shouting the lyrics so my neighbors hate me. It's really relaxing.
What's the Peanuts character that plays piano?
I have no idea.
Well, whatever his name is.
Schroeder.
That's right. Whatever his name is, that's what I imagine you look like playing the piano.
Yep.
Spectacularly. Wonderful. All right, Taylor, your guess next.
Let's see. Just keeping in the same theme with art. Noah likes to paint abstract things.
That is true. I do enjoy painting. Up until yesterday, all I painted was random. So I was a big fan of, I still am, weird art methods. I have a painting where I put paint in a cup and tied the cup to a string and like circled.
Like Home Alone with the cans.
Yeah, kind of like that.
Just downstairs.
So that was all just abstract. And then yesterday I actually started painting the first landscape based off one of my brother's pictures. And it is like, I used to hate all forms of art. Obviously, there's art behind me. That's my wife. This is her art area. I used to hate all forms of art because I could not do it. Kind of like Kurt was talking about, starting a new thing is just frustrating sometimes.
Yeah.
But it's also like it makes me stop and focus on that and not on anything else going on. And so that's been really helpful.
Yeah, you bring up a really good point. I think that's one of the good functions of resting kind of in a productive way, is that rest really is about taking your mind off something and pointing it in a different direction, which we don't do very well naturally. We naturally default to whatever is concerning us. So having that all encompassing, whether it's sports or whatever, that's cool, man. I want to see that landscape for real. All right.
I have it with me.
Sweet. Oh, you can show the camera if you want, but we won't pressure you into it. Oh, sweet.
Bob Ross.
Holy cow, man. That's awesome.
Nice, bud.
Good night.
The Grand Tetons.
That's really cool. That's really well done, too. Man, that's fantastic. Thanks. That was not at all what I was anticipating when you said you were first starting landscape.
I had some instruction from my wife.
Hey, that's impressive, man. Very good stuff.
Yeah, very nice.
Cool. All right. So it's Noah's turn to guess.
Okay. So Phil Mickelson. Obviously that one's not me. As I've said many times on this podcast, I don't sport. I do sport a little bit now, but that's pretty much just disc golf. And occasionally a really nice golf putt if I'm doing it, really lucky. Phil Mickelson, channeling their inner Phil Mickelson. Phil Mickelson is a golfer, as I Googled prior to this podcast. He is not a golfer. He golfs in some regard. And I know both of you like to golf. I'm going to have to go with Kurt because Taylor's already mentioned him in the podcast.
Yep, that would definitely be me. So I played golf in high school, but Taylor is the professional, actually amateur and
amateur.
Yeah, he and Tiger Woods are essentially the same person. Tiger sometimes calls him for help. But yeah, so that was one of the unexpected things of this past year. I've always been like the term is a hacker. I'm not a very good golfer at all, but had the time, and golf was one of the few things that you could do in being outside. And so when Taylor found out I owned clubs, he decided to Pygmalion me, which is, if you don't know what Pygmalion is, My Fair Lady is the play that is based off the book Pygmalion, where basically it's somebody does an extreme makeover on somebody who was not very good looking and makes them good looking and attractive. Well, Taylor did that with my golf game. And so over the last year, I dropped about 10 strokes. Phil Mickelson is my favorite golfer because it's all about the short game with him, even though he does hit really good drives. I don't drive the ball very well, but my short game's okay. Thanks to Taylor. I don't embarrass myself as much as I used to anymore. I'll put it that way. And it's been good being
underselling it.
No, it's true, but it's been good being
said
outside.
You were a hacker.
Yes, very much.
I don't know sports terms often. Is that very different from a hack?
No, yeah, hacking. If you're a hacker, basically your golf game looks like you're trying to tear weeds up.
Gotcha. Yeah. Hacking weeds. I was like hacking.
Yeah.
Hey Noah, a hacker would be about a 20 handicap. He's about a 10.
But only recently.
Gotcha.
But it's brought a lot of joy. It's been a lot of fun to be able to get out and be outside. Golf by nature is something that's out in nature. So, I've been really grateful for that. Thankful for Taylor's friendship in that regard. But yeah, that was definitely me. All right, my turn to guess. Yeah, talking on the phone is a tough one because if I could strap my phone to a rocket and send it to the moon, I think I would, and I would put my computer on the other side. But talking on the phone, man, I'm going to guess Noah again, but it really could go either way. Noah, is talking on the phone something you have been resting well with?
Kurt, let me ask you this. So when I'm in the office and I have to take a phone call, what do I do?
You usually walk around outside.
Yeah, that's because I don't like talking on the phone, and I prefer not to do it in the presence of others.
Okay.
So no, that's absolutely not me.
So Taylor, why talking? Explain this to me. Make my life better. How has this been
Man,
helpful for you?
so I'm relationally driven in every aspect.
Okay.
So throughout this whole process of quarantine and not being able to like get to know our people at Concord or get to see the ones that I really love and care about, I found that talking on the phone kind of gives me that it bridges the gap a little. It's not a full fix, and it's a lot better than texting.
Sure.
It gives a personal touch to the reach out of communication. And so it's the best thing I have as far as making an effort to see someone or get to know someone or hear them, hear how they are. It's the best thing I have during this point in time. Now, there are times where I will be on the phone way too much, and my wife will remind me kindly that I need to put it down for a bit. But if I'm getting in the car and nobody's with me, you can bet your bottom dollar I'm about to call somebody, see how they are, what's going on in your world. Um, it just is kind of a good reprieve for me because I can't see people.
That's a really good point. Yeah, because you did come on staff in the middle of quarantine time during a pandemic. That makes sense, man. That's a good point. It is a grace from God to be able to do that, as opposed to either just having to write a letter or send a carrier pigeon, for sure. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
Kurt,
absolutely.
as someone who doesn't who like you said wants to send your phone to the moon, with your dad's help, I assume. I
Absolutely.
was just going to ask, how has this year of ministry been for your enjoyment of phones?
Yeah,
Phone
I mean,
call.
I I probably over. What'd you say, Taylor?
Yeah, for the year of phone calls. I would also like to encourage everyone who watches this, as soon as you stop, call Kurt.
Oh man. I mean, truthfully, I do love talking to our folks. I didn't mean that as in I don't love talking to our folks. It just I'm very much a face-to-face person. Enjoy handling things that way, and so yeah, just that. I mean, the phone is the way that we do ministry right now, whether it's through text or phone calls, and it's just it's kind of a constant reminder that things are not as they should be, and it makes me long for
Absolutely.
days when it wasn't necessary. So yeah, it's been weird in that regard. I mean, I'm immensely grateful. I'm grateful for Zoom. I hate doing Zoom. I would much rather us be together, but I'm grateful that the technology is like a crutch that the Lord has graciously blessed us with. As much as I hate preaching to an empty room where there's a camera, I appreciate the fact that our people are behind that camera and there is a way to speak to them in love. But yeah, so weird would be the way that I would describe how this past year has been. Frustrating and good. I mean, look, the Lord
Good
has,
words.
yeah, sustained his people using all sorts of means down through the ages. This just happens to be the era we're in. So yeah, well, I got that one wrong. Taylor, you're up next. Last round.
Yeah. So this is kind of a head scratcher. The last round's kind of got some iffy ones. I I think I know y'all pretty well. So I'm gonna say go for a perfect hat trick, 3 for 3, and say that Pastor Noah really enjoys board games.
Yep,
Yeah.
that is the case. In preparation for this call, I did a count yesterday. People tend to give us board games for Christmas. We get them throughout the year when we have friends over. We have 68.
Whoa!
Yeah, they're not all large. Some of them are just small little decks of specific types of cards that you play games with, but 68 and then about 15 individual little packs of playing cards. But we
Noah,
love board games. We haven't got to play many this year.
I would like to ask. There are times it takes us 45 minutes to decide where we eat, and we've got it narrowed down to 5. How long does it take you to decide what game to play?
Not long at all, because of the 68 we have, there are typically favorites, and then there are ones that it's like, well, we haven't played that in a while.
Yeah.
But no, we love board games. I will also say real quick, this is just a church member shout out. We don't have near as many board games as Ron and Lurleen Buck do. They have an entire wall in their living room area covered in them on bookshelves. We have a small closet that's half filled. But no, we love playing games with friends. We like playing games with each other. We haven't got to do many board games this year for obvious reasons. But again, it's the same thing as painting, same thing as video games for me. It's a set period of time where you can take 30 minutes to an hour and you're like, this is my focus. Yeah. I'm not going to focus on anything else going on or the problems going on around me. I'm going to win this game or lose.
Some of you guys may not know this. I don't know why anybody would know it, but Noah's gift with board games was actually really helpful with Taylor coming on staff, because when he came on staff, we really couldn't just, get together and get close to one another. And so for a while there, we played a variety of games that Noah had recommended through Zoom as a staff with Janet as well, just to get to know one another, spend time together. And that was a huge grace. I just hearing you talk about that, I was remembering all the things we did. We actually did a lock. What are those rooms called?
An escape room. We did a virtual escape
room. Yeah, virtual escape room. That's right.
That's right. We did that together.
There's a man walking around with a camera, and we had to tell him what we wanted him to do. It was interesting.
And we beat it.
We did.
We had a little bit of help.
Well,
yeah, we had to.
I mean, it was a pandemic. But hey, maybe that's an idea. If you've got friends you've been longing to get together with, we highly recommend it. I think Zoom has got a 40-minute limit, but then you can start a new meeting and refresh it. You can play games. Over Zoom. Cool. Good guess, Taylor. Noah, you're up.
Okay, so that leaves woodworking and coffee making, coffee grinding, which is a challenge for you two, because from the moment Taylor was hired on staff, Kurt took him in as an apprentice and made him grind coffee for some reason.
Roast coffee, not just grind.
Sorry.
Roast.
Sorry, roast coffee. They're both coffee snobs a little bit. They roast their own. They're only slightly pretentious about it.
It's true.
And so it could be either of you. And then there's woodworking, which again, I mean, you both have tools that could do woodworking, but I'm gonna say woodworking is Kurt.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, that's me again, keeping it along a theme. I haven't done as much as I have in the past, but it's been a hobby that's developed over the last few years for me. My dad and I built our kitchen table, and I've done some small carving things for my kids. And just again, you're making something. I think I find myself attracted to ways to use spare time that involve creating something that's physical, whether it is, a terrible drawing or, carving a whale, something where at the end of it, you can say, I've produced this thing, which I think is something that's hardwired into us through creation. I mean, God gives Adam the creative power to name the animals and to care for the garden and to do all those things. And so, yeah, woodworking has been, again, something. My dad is the master craftsman of the family, but I grew up making stuff with him, watching him make things. And so it's been fun to try to develop a little bit of that myself.
Productivity through rest.
Yeah, that's right. All right. Well, that leaves grinding coffee to Taylor. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your newfound joy in coffee?
So coffee's an acquired taste. You've heard it before. I didn't really enjoy the taste of coffee until my wife told me she would not marry a man who drank coffee like a woman. As in, I could not, no cream or sugar. So I had to learn how to drink it in its natural state. And upon moving here, Kurt, kind of like I did with this golf game, took me in and taught me a new hobby and showed me kind of how easy it was to roast coffee, but then also you can have as many nuances as you would like, and make it as in-depth as you would like. So it's just really a getaway for me. I go to the garage, I turn on the roaster and spend, 35, 45 minutes. And it's just me and my thoughts. Nothing super spiritual, nothing, just no TV, rarely a phone, and it's just rinse and repeat with coffee beans, and just thinking about whatever is kind of going on at the time. But plus, I get to reap the benefits from it because it is a lot cheaper than buying coffee monthly, and then it's also I can take it to whatever flavor I would like to some degree. So it's a win-win-win.
Yeah, at the end of it, you have coffee that you can drink, which is wonderful, spectacular. Good deal.
So it's kind of like the overall like theme of all of our restful habits is just taking a moment to not focus on what we usually focus on.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and that's what a hobby is. I mean, the terms are interchangeable, but I think it's a good indication that we were made not to, as much as binge watching something on TV is certainly fun at times. I mean, we all have experienced, whether it's TV for you or the internet or whatever else, consuming a large amount of something without limit never produces the rest that we would imagine. But producing something, laboring in some really restful ways, produces a wonderful effect in our lives. So we're interested in knowing what you've done truthfully. Some of you text periodically, or you'll send an email, or you'll grab us on Sunday morning, which you can't do right now because we're meeting online, but letting us know, hey, yeah, I do this as well, or what you said reminds me of this thing in my own life. We delight in hearing those things. So please let us know. How have you been resting? Guys, y'all have any parting thoughts before we go? Seeing none here. Oh, wait, Taylor.
No, I just was going to say, just the reminder that, I hope this can speak to or meet people where they're at and help them realize we are ordered to rest well. That doesn't mean we have to have our nose in Romans every single, waking restful moment of the day. Right. It's okay. Self-care is a wonderful thing.
Yeah, that's a good point, because we do kind of default to thinking, well, the only way to rest is to read my Bible and pray 24/7. But we certainly see other things in Scripture, and we know that Jesus and his disciples' entire lives was not consisting of teaching and reading and studying and doing all those things. Good stuff. Well, guys, thank y'all so much, and rest well, get better. Neither of you are sick, but your families are, so we pray for them, and we will see you guys in 2 weeks. God bless you.